Hey everybody, it's Chris Mahan with another Lead Your Teen podcast. If you are new to this podcast, thank you so much. This podcast is all about the parent-child relationship with an emphasis on parental leadership, something that, as I've been talking about for almost 3.5, 4 years now, is desperately missing in today's world. We see the lack of parental leadership in the schools, in the classrooms, in the streets, the courtrooms, and this is something that I think we can all work on as a community. And as you guys know, I'm relaunching my book and it's coming out on Audible. So I've been looking for some really awesome interviews. And one of those is here today. I have Kiley Griggs and her mom, Lori. Her dad, Jason, is a firefighter. He's out today, so we couldn't make the podcast with us. But I've got the two of them here because I've never interviewed anybody for the podcast with a quote unquote disability. If you know me, I don't like using that word, but they told me it was okay to use it. I think everyone has ability of some kind, so I don't like that word, but for the sake of argument, we'll just say disability. Kiley is in a wheelchair. I'll let her explain to you what her life is like and all that she deals with every day. But I wanted to bring them on because all too often, when someone is in a wheelchair or a quote unquote disability, we often think in society that they have limitations that, oh, their life is so terrible, they're not going to be able to do anything. And for parents to know that maybe you've got a young child who has some sort of disability or deformity of some kind, think, oh my gosh, what's their life can be like? I wanted to bring them on today to kind of, get rid of some of those myths and get that stuff out of the way. We've been sitting here talking, and I'm blown away already. So I'm hoping you guys are too. And it's just amazing to me that with the right support, right encouragement, and the right leadership from mom and dad, young people, whatever their situation is, they can thrive and do amazing things, which you're going to find out here in just a few minutes when we start talking to these two wonderful people. So, with that said, I'm going to be quiet and introduce you to. So, Lori is mom. There's mom, and Kiley is 16. So, Kiley, welcome. Thank you guys both for being here. This means a lot to me. I love getting good interviews and people on here to share and get these stories out. So, Kiley, we just met the other day. Now, I know that Brandy has known you guys for a long time, and you've been known in this area. I've heard that you are pretty famous in this area. We did a book fair the other day, and that's where I ran into her. We got to talking, and I have her book. We're going to talk about this real quick before anything else. So, this book, which you can find on Amazon, I'm guessing, correct?
Yes,
On
correct.
Amazon? Okay. So there's her name there. You guys can see it. It is a poetry book. I'm going to let her explain to you how this came about. It's got a little interesting story to it. And let her kind of explain to you what this is. It's a great poetry book. It's got some little fun little stories in here. So, Kiley, tell us about your book.
So, like it says on the cover, it is a real romance about real people told in real time. It is actually a nonfiction poetry book. So, a brief synopsis of it is that I went on a cruise to Iceland last July.
Okay.
I met a guy.
What? Yep, here we go. Okay, she met a guy. That's always a fun
Here
way
we
to start
go.
a podcast. Okay, go ahead. So you met a guy. All right.
From California. I'm from Florida. So, like, obviously, we had a lot to talk about, different sides of the country. We ended
Okay.
up, so, and then he meets this girl from London. And
So
then
he
we
met. Okay, so let me back up. So you're from Florida. He's from California. You're on a cruise to Iceland. He then meets a girl from London on the same cruise.
yes.
That's true.
And
Okay. This sounds like a Hallmark movie, made for Christmas or something. Okay, go ahead.
there's a triangle, of course.
All right.
So basically, I get a little upset about the situation and upset with myself because I had an involvement back home at the time. And
What?
I
Okay, stop, stop, stop. So you have see what I said? Um, oh, she's in a wheelchair. She said, no, she's like a little player. Okay, so you have. This is great. Okay, so you got a guy back home in Florida. You meet a guy on the cruise from California. He meets someone from London, and you're all in Iceland, and the book comes out. Okay, I'm just trying to keep all this running. Okay, go ahead.
Then I like get a little upset right one home about it. That just comes out of me. I don't even know how it happened. It just happened. And then I'm like, okay, we're done with it. Starts catching on because the art of subtlety was never my specialty. And flirting with me too.
So you were flirting with him.
He was flirting with me, and I didn't
Oh,
know what to do.
and
So I
where was your dad? Where was your dad at this time? Oh, you're breaking up a little bit. We're having technical difficulty.
my dad, hold on. Take a deep breath. They were doing their own thing. Yeah, they were doing their own thing.
Okay, okay. So yeah, I had a little audio break right there. That's okay. So all right, so you've met these people. You're on a cruise, and from what I can gather, he wasn't a very nice person. And then it spawned this.
He made some unwise decisions, but so did
Most guys do when they're teenagers, but that's okay.
I. Yeah, that's perfectly okay. I've made unwise decisions before. I mean, you called me a player. So, like,
It was
there's
all in fun. It was all in fun. Don't
yeah,
get your mom mad at me.
there's nothing against that at all. I forgave him by the end of the book. I have nothing against him or anyone on the ship for that matter.
Well, good. So at the book signing the other day, did you sell out? Because I saw everyone coming over to buy a book.
Yes, I
So
sold that completely.
how made you sell?
Uh, 18 copies?
18 copies.
Yep.
Okay. And I had to get your stamp. You got a little stamp in here for your
Yep.
signature. It's awesome. So it's just a holiday romance by Kiley Griggs. I want to suggest everyone go and check this out on Amazon. Let me not cover her name up there. And I've read this, and it's actually a very like I was kind of joking earlier that it could be a like a movie of the week kind of thing. The way this is played out and throw some Christmas songs in there, and you've got a movie of the week for Lifetime Christmas or something. I mean, it kind of sounds like a holiday romance. It kind of sounds like a Christmas movie. So that's one of the cool things that you've done. So you've written the books. You're already a published author at 16, and we were talking earlier too, and you said that you love to travel. And guys, let me tell you, her passport has probably got more stamps than the post office. So just where have all the places? Where have you been around the world already at 16?
Iceland, Greenland, Canada, Nova Scotia, Boston, and New York, Singapore, Malaysia, and Thailand, Italy, France, and Spain, all over the Caribbean, Belize, Honduras, Cozumel, etc.
Wow. Now,
Alaska.
Alaska, and yeah, 'cause in
Yeah,
Iceland,
Alaska.
obviously. So I find this really pretty awesome that let me talk to Lori here a second, the mom. When you guys discovered when she was a baby that she was not going to be quote unquote normal and be able to walk and do all these things, and you were going to have to, do wheelchairs and all this stuff. What were some of the thoughts that you had as parents at that time? So I know she's your only child, is that correct?
That's correct.
Okay.
Yeah.
So what were some of your thoughts as new parents when this happened?
Well, when the diagnosis came through, obviously it was devastating. The ideas that we had of getting married and having children and what our future was going to be like drastically changed. We had no idea at that point what the damage that was done, that was going to look like for our future. So very, very uncertain. As she got older, and actually not much older, she was probably 2 or 3, we realized how smart she was already. And she was already starting to talk and things like that. She wasn't meeting her physical milestones, but cognitively was blowing us away already. Obviously, she had a lot of therapists and people involved in her care. We gave her every opportunity and provided her with every therapy that they offered and that we could provide. And she had a lot of support, and we had a lot of support through those opportunities that gave us hope, obviously, for her future. Being a teacher, you know, I've always, even though she was diagnosed at a very young age, about 5 or 6 months old, I just believe very much in setting expectations, and that leads to future outcomes. And that's where we started. So she had chores to her best of her ability. She had those expectations of what we expected out of her. So there's a lot that went into it when she was younger. And here we have the product of a teenager that is obviously very motivated. And
So what is her diagnosis? Because we didn't
I
talk
have
about that.
spastic quadriplegic cerebral palsy.
cerebral palsy.
Yeah,
Okay.
basically cerebral palsy.
Okay.
There's a wide spectrum of cerebral palsy. Hers is more on the severe side physically, obviously
Okay.
not cognitively or speech wise, which those can both also be affected. But for her, it's all physical. Other than that, she's healthy.
So she's paralyzed from like the waist down, or
Not
no,
paralyzed.
no. How does
I
that?
like think of it like a broken, miswired electrical circuit.
Okay. So the connections just aren't working.
Yeah. And you
Okay.
know the little electrical circuits have labels? And like some really old ones are mislabeled.
Okay. So the brain and the muscles don't quite work together. I'm just trying to.
Yeah,
So you're not paralyzed. It's just the nerves just don't connect properly.
the wires
The
aren't connected.
wiring. Okay. 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 I just I'm not a
Literally.
doctor, so I'm just trying to make sure I get this correct. Again, that's my assumption because you're in a wheelchair. I'm thinking, oh, she must be paralyzed. Okay. So that's again,
But
we
a
don't
lot
want
of
to.
people think you're not alone.
I know, but that's why I'm asking because sometimes again when people see that they think, oh, she's this or that or whatever, and again when you have parents that have kids with whatever their situation is, there's challenges. So you've had a lot of really positive, awesome things, but what are some of your challenges that you just go, okay, this is just how it is. I'm just gotta deal with it. Have you ever
Well,
wake up some days just upset and angry, or are you just like, nah, this is it?
there's always going to be stuff that makes me angry. I get frustrated with my body quite a lot. Like, for example, in the shower, like, it's very hard for me to shower. They help me, but like, my body doesn't always cooperate. And sometimes I have to pause
Okay.
and like stop, recuperate, think, or like I can't do fireworks because I still have my startle reflex from when I was a baby because of my cerebral palsy. So 4th of July, I'm hiding under the bed like a dog.
Okay. Well,
I also use
it's
humor to cope a lot, but also mainly the exclusion, whether intentional or not. Like, for example, today my cybersecurity team was prepping materials we got from district for a competition. And everyone was together and they were putting the thing together and like doing all this stuff. I asked how I could help. And they said, hey, we need you to practice on the machine to do the computer stuff. They would have included me if I could do something. They're really nice people, but I wouldn't be able to do it because I'd just be in the way. Like, I can't get down on the ground and connect the wire. Like, it's not there.
so do you during the day, do you get out of your wheelchair? I mean, obviously you get out of your wheelchair, but do you do physical therapy? Like, what are some things that you have to do to kind of, keep your muscles going? And, what's like an average day like for you?
Average day.
Her chair does stand up.
Oh, okay.
She can stand in it. So she
Okay.
does use that feature to help with all types of, circulation, digestion, bone development, all that kind of stuff.
Okay.
She does have adaptive equipment,
Yes, I do.
like a bike, an adaptive bike. She does a lot of swimming. Unfortunately, right now we're not in our home. We did lose our home during the flood, so
Oh,
we
geez.
do not have access to any of that equipment for the last 6 months. But we're
Mm-hmm.
hoping summer
Yeah.
Yeah.
we'll get her back. I think that's why she paused. She didn't quite know how to answer that question because right now there isn't a whole lot except for the standing.
Okay.
Usually we do keep her quite
Yeah.
physically active.
Okay. Well, and a second ago you mentioned cybersecurity, and we did talk about this. We haven't mentioned it here. So you're a sophomore in high school, and just what are your future plans? What do you want to do?
I want to either get my bachelor's at USF, St. Leo, or St. Pete College and become an ethical hacker.
Okay, so second you told me that, so you're gonna have to explain what an ethical hacker is because I thought it was just like hacking was hacking. So, explain to people what an ethical hacker is.
So think about a locksmith, right? They know how to pick locks. They have all the tools, know how to break the locks, know the ins and outs of the locks so they can fix the locks. Or like a broken lock is the same as an insecure computer. So my job is gonna be to go to companies and be like, hey, I did a test on your system. This is wrong. This is wrong. This is wrong. I could get into this, this, this. This works. This doesn't work. Now give me money, please.
See, that's every teenager's dream. I'm gonna do a little bit and I'm gonna get paid. That's awesome. So, okay, so ethical hacking means you're gonna go in and fix a problem, so that the real hackers can't go in and steal and do all those kinds of crazy things.
Or that I'm legally authorized to break into a system, see
Right.
what I can do, then tell them what they need to fix.
And I think earlier you said you've already got some college credits.
Yes, I have quite a few actually.
At the end of next month,
Yeah.
she'll have completed 26 college credits already.
Wow.
So she's halfway almost to her AA.
Yeah, so she's dual enrollment, which is pretty amazing. And
Mhm.
see, these are the things that I want parents to understand and young people to understand too, that not all of us are going to be in a wheelchair, but sometimes we can through our own thinking, we can put ourselves in that type of situation where we just don't want to move forward or we're afraid to move forward. Um, and it's not physical, it's emotional. So, Kylie, what would you tell people that are not in a wheelchair, that are quote unquote normal, to motivate them to live their best life?
The voice is wrong. For the people that say you can't, you whatever, prove it wrong. That's why I do what I do. Is because A, I like what I do. And B, prove it wrong. Prove prove society wrong. Prove your own head wrong. Prove whoever is against you wrong. Prove them wrong.
So that's awesome because in the book over here, I know I have a copy here. I have a whole section on not saying can't. And you just said that, and that's awesome. And I put that in here because you're absolutely right. When people begin to say can't, I can't, they let that little hyphenated T stop them from living their full potential. And I see it all the time. I see so many young people and their parents enable that thinking. So, Lori, how hard was it for you and Jason, your husband, to not fall into that trap of, oh, she's fragile, oh, she might get hurt, or oh, we don't want to, set our expectations too high. Did you guys ever have that early on that, maybe she's going to get too frustrated and get angry, or did you always just say, go for it? What was your philosophy on that?
Why are you laughing? What do
I'm
you think?
guessing it. I'm guessing it was go for it. It's kind of the way you're looking, but
What do you think you go?
It just kind of happened.
Oh, it just kind of happened?
It just happened.
Okay. I'm not sure what she means by that, but yeah, I guess it's just innate within us. We're just very positive people. We try to move forward. I think the biggest thing for us, all three of us, is we love adventure. And I think with adventure comes challenge. It's the
okay.
unknown. You don't know what's going to happen. You don't know how things are going to change. I think Kiley and I share that more, maybe a little bit more than Dad. Maybe that has to do with his profession. But we just kind of wing it all the time, right? Yeah. And we just go with the flow and we figure it out as it comes at us. That's just the personality trait, I guess. Yeah. And we love challenges, we love adventure, we love travel, obviously, which is adventure, but just in life. But I like change. I thrive on change. And I'm great with things changing and trying to figure them out. And
yeah, she's good with puzzles too.
Yeah.
Good with puzzles. Okay. No, that's awesome. And I like that because, again, when I talk to other people and parents and young people, it's I'm going to use this as a benchmark to show them and say, listen, here's a young lady, 16 years old. She's already written a book, and this and this. Now, I will say this, that a lot of young people today do not have the same support system and encouraging words from their parents as you might, or you do, obviously. So, Lori, how obviously it's important to you guys, but you and Jason, but are you ever around other people like with situations like Kylie's where, other parents are like, well, my kid can't do that or my daughter can't do that. And you're like, wait a minute, yes, they can. Are you encouraging other parents to get them, out of that negative mindset so their child can do something? Or do you ever see that at all? Do you guys hang around different like
We do.
groups or how
Yeah,
does
we
that work?
do. We do. It's a touchy subject, obviously, but we just kind of try to invite them into our world and the things that we're doing and try to keep them seeing what we're doing and be a positive influence. I need to grab a charging cord real quick. Kylie's going to continue.
Okay. Okay. So Kylie, let me ask you, how important, I know it's got to be a very important thing, but I just want to ask a question. If your parents were not who they are and as supportive and encouraging and, motivating, where do you think you would be right now?
Probably in an ESC classroom, first of all, learning nothing and not realizing my full potential.
Okay. That's awesome. That's so I was kind of hoping to hear. Um, no,
So
that's great.
I have an example. I homeschooled her for 5 years. I'm a teacher up until high school. So fourth grade through eighth grade. And I still work full time. So while I was busy, sometimes she had to fend for herself. And we found things that she could do on her own, just with her own perseverance, because I wasn't readily available to drop everything and run to do whatever it was she needed. So yeah, I mean, even though she has accomplished so much and is so independent and advocates fantastic for herself, there were things that still beyond our scope of, oh wow, you could. Just the other day she pulled in and I looked over and she had the computer on her or on her wheelchair tray, and I go, did I get that for you? Did I forget that I got? And she says, no, I just drove in the other room and grabbed it and put it on my tray and opened it. And I'm like, oh, okay, I didn't know that was a thing that you could do. But she figured it out and she did it. So it just, even even with all the support we give her, there's still things that she amazes us. And surprises us with.
Yeah,
That's
and sometimes
awesome.
I surprise myself too.
Well, and that's something else, I talk about motivation in the book with young people, and all too often young people are motivated by extrinsic rewards. Do this, I'll give you a candy bar, do that, whatever it is. And schools work that way, and a lot of times parents work that way. So innate motivation is not really something that most young people are familiar with. They just always expect some sort of token in return to do something. Lori, does it just amaze you how innately motivated she is without you having to coerce or bribe or push, or because like you said, she just kind of went and did it, kind of surprised you. Um, how how important is that for you thinking about her future, that she's going to be okay? Because at some point, I can tell by how independent she already is at 16, she's probably going to want to be on her own, if that's even possible. Is that possible for her to be on her own one day?
On my own without them, yeah. On my own period, no, because it's a safety concern.
Okay.
I cannot open doors.
Okay.
She would have helpers,
Yeah.
so she
Okay.
wouldn't be completely independent, but she'll be on her own without us. She's planning on moving out. Like she's
Yeah.
been working on it.
I've
But
been out since I was nine. No, I never played
9? You want to
with
move out
her.
since you were 9?
Yeah.
Wow.
and she found a place for her to live off campus for college that would provide her with daily supports that she could get back and forth to college. She was 9 years old researching this.
9 years old.
For her college. At 9 years old, she was researching and preparing.
So,
Um, so my husband and I
okay.
always say we're raising an adult.
Yeah.
Even when she was little. I mean, 2, 3 years old, we're teaching her chores and everything. We're working toward raising an adult. If she asked a few years ago, she asked, Mom, I don't know how to do taxes. I was doing the taxes for the family. She said, can you teach me? Sure, let's do it. We did taxes together that year. The next year she goes, I'm going to do it. Okay, here's the paperwork. This
You guys
is
got $100,000 refund.
no, she did the taxes. I looked over them and corrected anything and went over mistakes that she had made. And then last year she did the taxes all on her own. I mean, again, I looked over them in the end, but I mean, it's just giving them those opportunities.
Wow.
And if they ask, say, yes, here, let me show you how to be an adult.
That's awesome. There are so many young people, 25, 30 years old, that are not doing that, and they're still at home. They're totally able-bodied. It's just amazing to me. And there's so many things in society that allow this to happen and make excuses. Um, I don't want to get into some of the current trends because there's people written books on this. I don't want to get like sued for making fun of them. But I looked up something a while back that it was 19.7% of men ages, I think it was 28 to 32, are still living at home, able-bodied, not working. 19.7%. That was millions is what it broke down to. So here you are, a 16-year-old girl, you've already written a book, you've traveled the world, you've already planning college, you're already in college, and absolutely doing amazing things, inspiration to so many people. And I'm hoping that this actually does inspire other people, both parents with kids that are in wheelchairs or have disabilities and parents that don't, to show them that it isn't about your body, it's about your mind, it's about the support that you're given, the encouragement that you're given, the respect that you're given, and more importantly, the love of the parents to have that mindset to say, you can do this, and I want to show you how. You guys, this has been an amazing opportunity, and I'm so glad you guys are able to come on. And
Thank you for having me.
this has been really, really awesome. I'll have this out probably later tonight, first thing tomorrow, and get this going. And I'll have it translated for the book here, get that in because I know my guy wants to get this, recorded and out there. And, this has been great. So please tell Jason thank you. I know he couldn't make it.
He's at the
You
fire
know,
station.
yeah, he's a firefighter guy, so he couldn't make it. So, God bless him too. And you guys have an amazing evening, and I really appreciate everything that you're doing as parents. And Kylie, you're obviously you got huge things in front of you, and I can't wait to see what the next several years brings for you. And I am looking forward to another book from you. So, again, guys, you can find her book on Amazon. It looks like this. It's called "It's Just a Holiday Romance" by Kiley Griggs. a real romance with real people told in real time. So they can find that. It's a poetry book. It's got some humor to it. It's got some teenage angst to it. It's got all kinds of stuff. So I enjoyed it. There you go. All right, guys. With that, I'm gonna wrap this one up. You guys have a great night, and thank you guys so much.
Thank you,
Thank you.
All right. Bye.